Traders, welcome back to the channel. We're doing an AMC rundown, very short, sweet, to the point. We are doing this midday just so you know, but I'm going to give you my explanation for what happened today, what I did with my options, and how I see this moving forward, and key levels that you need to be watching over the coming weeks going into the end of the year. Like, subscribe, do what you got to do. Let's get to it.
I got no drip in my pocket.
Okay, as always, I'm going to go straight into my options and what I was looking at there and how I went about this. Now, if you follow me on Twitter, you saw all this morning. You saw me mentioning what I was doing with the positions, everything like that. As I got in them, as I was live, everything like that. Literally, first thing this morning, I cut my December's 17th literally at open, roughly around open, for a little bit of a loss. They were still a little bit underneath $37. We got those about $36.5. So it was a little bit of a loss, like I said, but I was willing to take that risk based on watching the reaction that you're going to get from those key levels. Again, cut that, posted it immediately. Everyone saw that. The March contracts. This was the million-dollar question. What was I going to do there and how I was going to go about that? I cut those. I posted those here as well. I'm going to get into exactly why. Am I saying we're bearish? Am I saying we're going to the ground? No, it's not what I'm saying. But this is all based on value and how options are going to retain their value, okay? That's what we're talking about right now. So I want to highlight that as well. So I did close the Marches. I'm going to get into why, where I see them moving, things like that. Now we're going to go to the chart. Now, I want it to be very clear. I'm never BSing anything here. I'm never telling you to get into this, get out of that. I'm not doing that. I am here to express how I see we're moving going forward, what I'm doing with my position, and based on why I'm using my position, okay? I'm not going to throw random theories at you. I'm not going to overhype something, tell you to buy this or sell this. It's not what I'm doing. 100% not what I'm doing. Now, going into this, I want to mention how I saw this moving before we got into this really big dip. Now, you came down, you bounced, you had a double bottom near the monthly. That was really good yesterday. You pushed up, you were going to mount the VWAP. It was looking really good. Today, we started off very interesting. If you remember yesterday, indexes were very strong. And then going into today, they remained pretty strong. However, at open, before you get the big bad news on the market, you were still trending down. And then shit really hit the fan. You started really pushing down once Powell mentioned what he did, which we're going to get to here in a sec. You pushed all the way to the new lows of 32.6. So that's a low right now. And it looks like you're breaking this whole higher low trend. That's a really concerning part for me right now, but we need to discuss exactly what I'm looking at. So there was two supports I was looking at, and I was being a little bit optimistic with the second one, right? So if we're coming in here a little bit higher, going into a higher time frame, you had a potential double bottom right here at this 34.10. That was the last line of support for me on the options chain right now. You broke that trend, you came down lower, you have made a new low, lower low. It is what it is. That's how you're moving. All things considered, you didn't move like this by yourself. If you look at indexes, we're just going to look at the Nasdaq for a second. You were pushing new highs on the Nasdaq and you came tumbling down. Now, the key thing to know here, if you listen to Jerome Powell, I was live streaming it and kind of going over what was happening and what he was saying, trying to explain it to you guys as best as possible. He mentioned something about inflation. And what he said was, when are we going to stop calling inflation transitory? And he said it in a derogatory way to his colleagues, making it sound like he believes inflation is no longer transitory. Now, this was the concern that I mentioned last week. Jerome Powell secured his position from Biden, and then he comes out the following week and eventually says inflation is no longer transitory. Basically, he didn't say that word for word, but it was along those lines. That is the most bearish thing that could possibly be said for the market. When he said it, if you were watching the live stream, I've been live every morning at 8:30 a.m. at market open for at least 1 hour. That was extremely, extremely bad. And you came down tumbling. I mean, everything came down. Nasdaq, Dow, everything. And I see blood continuing to come for the next week at least. We do have a new monthly open tomorrow, but all things considered, that was the worst news you could possibly get on the market. So, again, you saw the SPY absolutely tank. You're down $7 on the day, almost 2%. That's crazy numbers. I mean, overall, everything, like I said, just getting slaughtered right now. So looking at AMC, what do I see happening? Where is this going? Things like that. Now, we also need to talk about what's being said out there. We're saying, and people were down below. I think I made a video the other day going over I bought options, things like that. First of all, I bought options. I didn't buy shares. So people were saying that you're buying fake shares. They're not real. They're all synthetics. They're this, they're that. All this confusion, one, it's not going to bring people into this. So people that want to start buying more stock are just going to be so confused by how we are wording this, that, you know, there's no real buying, there's this, there's that. It's like, it's absolute nonsense. So you're just deterring people from wanting to buy this. I completely believe this is a whole scam slash shilling of what's going on with AMC right now, that we're convincing people that buying is bad for the stock. I'm not saying that that's what's killing it right now, but it's not helping it. This is absolutely nonsense. But if you look at the market too, GME is getting hurt as well. So it's not like AMC's moving all by itself. GME's bouncing back a lot better currently than AMC if you look at the overall chart. But overall, you got the OBV dropping down a little bit. So people, you're getting selling pressure here too. Just looking at based on the OBV, you're getting some selling pressure. It's not as bad as some of these other stocks, just so you know. Some of these other stocks are really tanking. So this, in comparison to others, is not that bad. GME is a great example. GME is getting really hit. You can see a lot more selling going on there over the past few days, in my opinion. So looking at this, you broke key levels. I'll continue to update you guys, and you can see you're trying to hold that local bottom there that you had at the last one. I'll keep you guys updated and posted, and I'll keep it on Twitter as well. What I'm looking for now is, can you start getting back above key zones? Because if you start mounting these now resistances, that's when you look to get back in. And if you're looking at those options, I want to make this very clear as well, so people are like, you took an L, you took an L, you took an L. All things considered, when you saw me enter the first options, it was $3.40 for March 18th. And if you trade options or know anything about them, this is going to be absolutely crazy. From those highs of 42.5, we actually had higher highs here, all the way down to 32. The contracts dropped from $3.40 to $2.50 is where I got out on those contracts. Roughly a 30% drop, a little bit less than 30%. The value of these contracts dropped about 25%. If someone gave you the option to either have shares or have options, and you had the same amount of risk on both, in my opinion, the value play is always going to be those options, and that's why I took the Marches. I would do the same thing over again, and I would trade the exact same position, and that's the exact same position I'm going to be looking to get back into. But for right now, I had to manage my risk, cut it, and then look for more in the future as well. What I see happening over the next few days, if you don't get an immediate push back above the monthly, which probably won't happen immediately, you're going to start seeing some sideways action. That's where things going to happen, and this is going to cause IV crush on any type of options. If you're looking at AMC right now, take a look at the 1 hour. For long-dated options, you've seen a lot of IV pushing up, all things considered. You've had a 20% move up, 20% move down, 20% up. You're just up and down, up and down, up and down. So you're getting a lot of IV, so the value of those longer-dated contracts are retaining their value in a sense, but I think once you start getting sideways action, it's really going to hurt the value of those, but it's also going to be the time that you're looking to buy those options once again. So again, more updates will be coming, but I wanted to break down exactly what I was looking at, where I saw this moving, how I saw it moving, and things like that. Hope that made sense. If you have questions, please comment down below. I don't want to keep dragging this on. Like, subscribe, do what you got to do.
Enough to go cop it. I'm about to take off like a rocket. Houston, we might have a problem.